The impossible visitor, the stars in the Corvini border system, had never seen anything like it. A single ship drifted through the void, its hull scarred and patched, moving with the quiet confidence of something that had nothing left to lose. The vessel bore no resemblance to any known design in the galactic database. It was angular where most ships were curved, dark where others gleamed, and somehow alive in a way that made even veteran space captains uneasy. Captain Alina Vasquez stood on the bridge of the defiant dawn, her weathered hands gripping the command rail. At 45, she had seen more war than most soldiers twice her age. Her short-cropped grey hair framed a face marked by determination and loss. Behind her, 11 other souls worked at their stations with the focused intensity of people who knew they were humanity's last hope. The ship's AI designation, Aria, spoke in a voice that somehow managed to be both synthetic and warmly human. Captain, we're receiving multiple targeting locks. 237 vessels confirmed. The entire Corvani Third Fleet is moving to intercept. Alina nodded slowly. They had expected this. The Corvani Empire didn't negotiate with species. They considered inferior, and humanity had been marked for extinction 6 months ago. 3 human colonies had already been glassed, their populations scattered to the cosmic winds. Earth itself lay under blockade, its billions trapped like animals. In a cage. Dr. Chen, status report on the adaptive systems. Alina called out. Dr. Marcus Chen looked up from his console, his young face animated with the kind of excitement that only came from pushing the boundaries of science. At 32, he was the youngest person ever to lead a xenotechnology research team. His dark eyes reflected the glow of displays showing incomprehensible data streams. The quantum analysis matrix is online and learning, Captain. Every scan they run on us, every sensor, sweep, it's all being fed into the system. We're building a complete picture of their technology in real time. Alina allowed herself a small smile. The Defiant Dawn wasn't just a warship. It was humanity's greatest achievement and most desperate gamble rolled into one. Every piece of technology they had ever encountered, every scientific breakthrough, every innovation born from centuries of human curiosity and stubbornness had been packed into this single vessel. The main view screen flickered to life, showing a face that would have been handsome by human standards if not for the additional eyes and the predatory gleam in each of them. Admiral Zektar of the Corvani Empire had commanded fleets for 3 decades, and his reputation for ruthless efficiency was legendary across the galaxy. Human vessel Zektar's voice carried the weight of absolute authority. You will power down your systems and prepare to be boarded. Your species has been judged unworthy of continued existence. Do not make this more difficult than necessary. Alina stepped forward, her voice steady despite the impossible odds. Admiral Zektar, I presume. I'm Captain Alina Vasquez of the Terran Federation. I'm here to discuss terms for the survival of my people. The Corvani Admiral's multiple eyes blinked in what might have been amusement. There are no terms, human. Your people resist the natural order. You refuse to accept your place in the galactic hierarchy. You question authority, innovate without permission, and worst of all, you inspire others to do the same. And that's exactly why we're here, Alina replied. Not to surrender, but to show you what happens when you corner a species that refuses to die quietly. The transmission cut abruptly, replaced by the tactical display. Red dots swarmed around, the single blue marker that represented the Defiant Dawn. The Corvani fleet was moving into attack formation. their massive dreadnoughts leading the charge while smaller cruisers and destroyers flanked them from all sides. "They're not taking any chances," observed Lieutenant Sarah Kim, the ship's tactical officer. Her fingers danced across her controls. Weapons systems coming online with quiet efficiency. Full battle formation. "They're treating us like we're actually dangerous." "We are dangerous," Alina said quietly. "Dr. Chen, are you ready to show them what human ingenuity looks like?" Chen's hands moved across his console with practiced precision, activating the adaptive hull plating. Quantum resonance shields up. Online, the nanite fabricators are ready to deploy. The first salvo from the Corvani fleet lit up space like a deadly aurora. Energy beams that could level cities struck the defiant dawn from a dozen directions simultaneously. The ship's shields flared brilliant white, then began to shift and change, adapting to each new frequency and wavelength in real time. Impossible, came a transmission from one of the Corvani ships. "Their defensive systems are learning our weapons." Signatures. Alina watched the tactical display with growing satisfaction. The ship's hull was covered in millions of microscopic machines, each one capable of analyzing and adapting to hostile energy patterns. It was technology that had taken humanity decades to develop, built on principles they had learned from studying. Wreckage from 100 different alien civilizations. "Return fire," Alina commanded. "Show them what we've learned." The defiant dawn responded with weapons that shouldn't have existed. Pulse cannons that fired shots calibrated to specific molecular structures, particle beams that could phase through certain types of shields, missiles that changed their payload, mid-flight based on real-time analysis of their targets. 3 Corvani destroyers disappeared in brilliant flashes of light. The rest of the fleet hesitated, their formation wavering as commanders tried to understand. "What they were facing, sir," came a voice from the Corvani flagship. Commander Velthara, Admiral Zekteres second in command, studied her displays with growing unease. She was younger than her superior, her scaled skin bearing the blue-green coloration of the Corvani warrior caste. "The human vessel is not behaving according to any known tactical doctrine. It's as if it's improvising its responses in real time." Zektar's expression darkened. "Impossible. No species can adapt that quickly to our weapons. We have conquered 1,000 worlds with this technology. Nevertheless, sir, they're doing exactly that. And there's something else. Long-range sensors are detecting energy signatures from their ship that match no known power source. Whatever they're using, it's generating far more energy than a vessel of that size should be capable of." On the defiant dawn, Dr. Chen was in his element. The ship's quantum core was performing beyond all theoretical parameters, drawing energy from the fabric of space-time itself. It was dangerous technology, the kind that could tear holes in reality if misused. But desperate times called for desperate measures. "Captain, I'm detecting something interesting," Chen called out. "The Corvani ships are using a networked communication system. Every vessel is linked to every other vessel. It makes them incredibly efficient, but it also means they're vulnerable to system-wide attacks." Elena's eyes lit up with understanding. "You're thinking of a cascade failure." "Exactly. If we can introduce the right kind of digital virus into their network, we could disable their entire fleet without firing another shot." The ship shuddered as another wave of Corvani fire struck home. The adaptive shields held, but Alina could see the strain on the power systems. They had minutes at most before the Corvani overwhelmed their defenses through sheer numbers. "Do it," she commanded, "but make it count." Chun's fingers flew across his controls, uploading a program that represented years of research into alien computer systems. The virus was designed to be subtle, spreading through the Corvani network like a whisper before striking with the force of a hurricane. The effect was immediate and devastating. Corvani ships began to drift out of formation, their navigation systems compromised. Weapons powered down as targeting computers crashed. Communications became a chaotic mess of overlapping signals and error messages. "What have you done?" Zektar's voice crackled through the static-filled transmission. "We've shown you what happens when you underestimate humanity," Alina replied. "We don't just fight with weapons, Admiral. We fight with our minds. We adapt. We innovate. We never give up." The Corvani fleet was in chaos, but Alina knew this was just the beginning. The virus would be countered eventually, and when it was, the Empire would come back with everything they had. But for now, they had bought precious time. "Aria, open a channel to all frequencies. I want every ship in the galaxy to hear this." The AI complied, and Elena's voice rang out across the void. "This is Captain Elena Vasquez of the Terran Federation. To all species listening, know that humanity does not go quietly into the night. We do not surrender to tyranny. We do not accept extinction. We fight, we adapt, and we survive." The transmission cut, leaving the defiant dawn alone in the dark between the stars. But Alina knew they weren't really alone. Somewhere out there, other species were listening. Other worlds were watching. And perhaps, just perhaps, some of them were remembering what it meant to be free. The ship's scanners detected massive energy signatures approaching from the edge of the system. Reinforcements were coming, and this time, the Corvani wouldn't underestimate their enemy. Alina turned to her crew, seeing the same determination in their faces that burned in her own heart. "Prepare for Phase 2. It's time to show the galaxy what humanity is really capable of." The Defiant Dawn powered up its engines and began to move, not away from the approaching fleet, but toward it. In the darkness of space, a single ship prepared to face an empire, carrying with it the hopes and dreams of an entire species that refused to die. When one becomes too many, the reinforcements arrived like a steel storm across the void. Admiral Zektar's flagship, the Dominion's Edge, led a fleet of 500 warships into the system. Dreadnoughts, the size of small cities, moved alongside sleek destroyers and massive carrier vessels. The combined firepower could reduce entire worlds to cosmic dust. But the Defiant Dawn wasn't running. Captain Elena Vasquez stood on her bridge, watching the tactical display with the calm of someone who had already made peace with death. The single blue dot representing her ship was surrounded by an ocean of red, outnumbered 500 to 1. Any rational commander would have retreated. Any sane person would have surrendered. Alina had never been accused of being entirely sane. "Dr. Chen, how long until the fabricators are ready?" she asked. The young scientist looked up from his console, sweat beating on his forehead despite the cool bridge temperature. "The quantum assemblers are online, Captain. We're already processing the debris from the destroyed Corvani ships. The nanites are breaking down their hull materials and extracting useful components." Alina nodded. This was the Defiant Dawn's secret weapon, the reason humanity had sent only one ship. It wasn't just a warship or a research vessel. It was a factory capable of reproducing and improving upon any technology it encountered. Every piece of wreckage, every disabled enemy ship, every fragment of alien technology became raw material for humanity's greatest creation. "Aria, show me the construction queue," Alina commanded. The AI's holographic display materialized above the central console, showing dozens of small craft in various stages of completion. They looked like mechanical insects, each one bristling with sensors and weapons adapted from captured Corvani technology. First wave of defensive drones will be ready in approximately 3 minutes, Captain Arya reported. Each unit incorporates improved shield generators, adaptive armor plating, and weapon systems reverse-engineered from enemy technology. Admiral Zektar's voice boomed across the communications channel. Human vessel, you are surrounded and outnumbered. This is your final opportunity to surrender. Power down your weapons and prepare to be destroyed quickly. Alina activated the reply channel, her voice carrying across the void with quiet confidence. Admiral, I appreciate the offer, but I'm afraid I'll have to decline. You see, we humans have a saying, the darker the night, the brighter the stars shine. Philosophical nonsense, Zektar snarled. You cannot fight an entire fleet with one ship. You're absolutely right, Alina agreed. Good thing we're not fighting with just one ship. The space around the Defiant Dawn erupted into activity. Hundreds of small craft emerged from hidden bays and manufacturing ports, each one a marvel of human engineering and alien technology merged into something greater than the sum of its parts. The drones moved with inhuman precision, forming complex patterns that confused enemy targeting. Systems. Commander Velthara studied her tactical display with growing alarm. Sir, the drones are using advanced swarm tactics. They're sharing targeting data in real time and coordinating their attacks with a level of precision I've never seen. Impossible, Zektar muttered. No species has ever developed technology that advanced. With respect, sir, we're not dealing with normal technology. The human ship appears to be using some kind of adaptive AI system that learns and improves with each engagement. It's as if they're fighting with the collective knowledge of their entire species. Zektar's eyes narrowed. Then we destroy them, before they can adapt further. All ships, open fire. Maximum firepower. The Corvani fleet unleashed a barrage that would have obliterated entire star systems. Energy beams, particle cannons, and fusion missiles converged on the Defiant Dawn from every direction. The space around the human ship became a maelstrom of destructive force. But the defensive drones were ready. They moved like a living shield, intercepting incoming fire with suicidal precision. When one drone was destroyed, 2 more took its place, emerging from the Defiant Dawn's manufacturing bays with improvements based on real-time battle data. Incredible, Dr. Chen breathed, watching his creations in action. The AI is learning from every destroyed drone, incorporating the lessons into the next generation. They're getting better with each iteration. Alina watched the battle unfold with a mixture of pride and sorrow. Each drone represented years of human knowledge and ingenuity, centuries of scientific advancement compressed into a few cubic meters of adaptive technology. They were beautiful and terrible, like mechanical angels dancing through hell. Captain, Lieutenant Kim called out from the tactical station. I'm detecting massive energy signatures from the Corvani flagship. They're charging some kind of superweapon. Alina's jaw tightened. She had studied Corvani military doctrine extensively, and she knew what was coming. The Dominion's Edge carried a planet-killer weapon, a device capable of cracking worlds in half. If Zektar was willing to use it here, it meant he was getting desperate. Time to Phase 3. Alina announced. Dr. Chen, activate the quantum resonance cascade. Chen's hands hesitated over his controls. Captain, that's completely untested. The theoretical models suggest it could work, but the power requirements are enormous. We could burn out the entire quantum core. Do it anyway. Alina ordered. If we're going to die, let's make it count. The defiant dawn began to change. Its hull plating shifted and flowed like liquid metal, revealing hidden arrays of crystalline structures that pulsed with inner light. The ship's quantum core, already operating beyond all safe parameters, began to resonate with the fundamental frequencies of space-time itself. Asterisk, asterisk. What are they doing? Velthara asked, her voice tight with concern. Before Zektar could answer, the human ship fired. Not a weapon in any conventional sense, but a wave of pure quantum energy that rippled through the fabric of reality, where it touched the Corvani ships. Their weapons systems simply stopped working. Not destroyed, not damaged, but rendered fundamentally incompatible with the laws of physics that governed their operation. Impossible, Zektar whispered. They're rewriting the quantum signatures of our weapons. Elena's voice carried across the communications channel, calm and implacable. Admiral, we tried to warn you. Humanity doesn't just adapt to technology, we transcend it. We take what exists and make it better. We turn your own weapons against you, not through force, but through understanding. The Corvani fleet was in chaos. Ships drifted helplessly as their weapons refused to fire and their shields flickered out of existence. The carefully ordered formation dissolved into confusion as commanders struggled to understand what had happened to their technology. But Alina knew this victory was temporary. The quantum resonance cascade was draining the defiant dawn's power. Reserves at an alarming rate. They had minutes at most before the ship's systems failed completely. Arya, prepare for final phase, Alina commanded. Transfer all remaining power to the beacon array. The AI's voice carried a note of something that might have been sadness. Captain, that will leave us defenseless. The ship will be unable to maintain life support. I know, Alina replied softly. But that's not why we're here, is it? Dr. Chen looked up from his console, understanding dawning in his eyes. The beacon will transmit everything we've learned to every human colony and research station in the galaxy. Every adaptation, every innovation, every breakthrough we've made here today. Alina nodded. One ship carrying the knowledge of our entire species. That's what we are. That's what we've always been. The defiant dawn began to glow with an inner light that had nothing to do with its weapons or shields. Deep in its core, the quantum beacon was preparing to transmit the sum total of human knowledge across the galaxy. Not just the technical data, but the spirit behind it, the refusal to surrender, the determination to find a way where none existed. The absolute conviction that no problem was unsolvable if you were willing to pay the price. Sir, Velthara reported, her voice barely above a whisper. I'm detecting massive energy signatures from the human ship. They're preparing to transmit something across the entire galaxy. Zektar's face went pale. Stop them. Whatever they're doing, stop them now. The Corvani fleet began to move, but it was too late. The defiant dawn had already begun its final transmission. Across the galaxy, in research stations and hidden colonies, in refugee ships and underground bunkers, humanity received the gift of knowledge. Every innovation, every adaptation, every breakthrough that had made this moment possible was shared freely with anyone who could use it. Alina stood on her bridge, watching the power levels drop toward zero. Around her, her crew worked with quiet efficiency, ensuring that the transmission would be complete. They had volunteered for this mission, knowing it was one way, but seeing it through to the end still required courage. Captain, Dr. Chen said quietly, the beacon is at full power. Transmission will commence in 30 seconds. Alina activated the ship's internal communications system. "This is the captain. All hands, prepare for final transmission. It has been an honor serving with you all." The defiant dawn pulsed once, twice, then released a wave of pure information that rippled across the galaxy at faster-than-light speeds. In that moment, every human in existence shared in the ship's final gift, the knowledge of how to adapt, how to survive, how to turn the galaxy's own technology against itself. The ship's lights flickered and died. Life support failed. But in the darkness, Alina smiled. They had done it. They had shown the galaxy that humanity could not be extinguished by force or intimidation. They had proven that one ship, crewed by people who refused to give up, could change the course of history. Admiral Zektar watched the defiant dawn go dark, his multiple eyes reflecting the last flickers of light from the dying ship. For a moment, there was only silence in the void. Then, across the galaxy, the rebellion began. Human colonies that had been preparing for extinction suddenly found themselves equipped with technology that surpassed anything the Corvani Empire had ever developed. Refugee ships became mobile factories, churning out weapons and defenses that adapted to enemy tactics in real time. Underground resistance movements emerged from hiding, armed with knowledge that made them more dangerous than entire fleets. "Sir," Velthara said quietly, "long-range communications are reporting uprisings in 7 sectors. The humans are using technology we've never seen before." Zektar stared at the dark hull of the defiant dawn, beginning to understand what they had really been fighting. Not just one ship, but the distilled essence of an entire species. Their curiosity, their ingenuity, their absolute refusal to accept defeat. "Recall all fleets," he ordered. "We're going to need every ship we have." In the darkness between the stars, the defiant dawn drifted silent and cold. But its mission was complete. It had shown the galaxy that humanity would not go quietly into the night. They would fight, they would adapt, and they would survive. And in the end, that was all that mattered. Asterisk.